Hello and welcome to Coming Into Being. Elizabeth jumping right in at the beginning. Just give me a minute to go over to Instagram and get that going. And here we are on both sides. Yay, good. Here we go. And sending off my little message. Okay, my computer's having a hard time here. No. Try to send out my message and then it's popping up to me the help box. So anyways, hello and welcome to Coming Into Being. Here we go. I don't need help. I just want to send out my message. There we go. Yay. They've got it. I've got to send them a message because it's right overlapped with the help button. So no problems for you though. And Sydney, good morning. Same lovely cats with me as last week. Oh, good. I'm happy hearing you pet sitting. I think that's nice. So welcome, Coming Into Being. Oh, let me make my. There we go. Just want to make sure I can see. And Karen, and Tanya. Hey, Tanya. Good to see everybody. So interesting times, isn't it? We had a really warm day. It was like 75 outside, and inside it's barely 70. Old buildings kind of stay cool longer, so hot and dry. Anyways, so nice deep breath in wherever you are. And continuation from last week, Elizabeth, let me know how that's been going for your little practice there. I've got another step for you today. So, but we'll get to that in a bit. Okay, deep breath in, settling into yourself. Oh, releasing it out. I see somebody popping in on. And Roma on the other side. Hello, Roma from London. Yes. All right. Yeah, United States. And Karen, I don't know where you are if you're in the United States. Sometimes we have people in England pop in. Also in Australia too. So that's kind of fun. Making it all possible on the internet. I mean, I used to do this in person. I really enjoyed that though, but it's just different times now, and certainly can connect with more people or further out this way. But it's interesting, so let's take a nice deep breath into that. And that's one of the big changes that we've had to kind of grapple with, is, especially for those who are older maybe, is this shift into devices and that long distance. And it's different, the work I do hands-on, and even if I were to do a hands-on session, like in person with one of you, it would be a very different experience than in person. And I was here 2 weeks ago. Yes, I recognize the name. The one who's waking up in dairy. Your advice helped me a great deal. Oh, good. Yes. Hello. Nice to be here. I'm Portland, Oregon. Yay. At the invitation of Cindy. Okay, good. Nice. Yeah. Thanks, Cindy. Thanks for bringing some gang in. That's nice. And helping each other move forward. But anyway, so let's take another nice deep breath in. Devices are nice. And also it pushes us to be even more in control of ourselves, because it's so easy to just kind of get pulled out into the ethers through. Yes, Karen, yes. Sydney invited me too. Yes, I was remembering that. And getting sidetracked off Moon Goddess, hi to all. Greetings from Chicago. Great auroras last night. Oh, cool. Gosh. Yeah, great. So, nice flares. Yeah, 11 to 11 yesterday. So that's pretty cool. All right. So settling into that, settling into ourselves as an example of devices taking us all in all sorts of directions, right? But in a good way, here in a good way when we connect to others, but also in a not so good way when we take ourselves out. So it's literally what happens is energetically you move yourself out of your physical body. And if we're not in our physical bodies well, or well enough, sometimes it's just a question of well enough, then we can kind of we end up in different dimensions at the same time. So great, even in southern Utah, that's cool. So feeling that spine, coming into our spine, feel your spine. You know, we're on this physical plane, so we don't have to leave our physical bodies to connect with other dimensions. You can stay anchored in your physical body and connect, tune in, capped onto that vibration, that resonance, that whatever you want to call it, that wavelength, and get the information. But people don't really learn how to do that. So, as Karen brought up, coming into your spine and how that important that is to really connect in with the spine. And if you think about the spine, it's the whole nervous system is in there. The whole nervous going throughout your whole body, all this information going between your brain and the rest of your physical body. Prime target for taking people over or taking somebody over by the neck. So just dropping down the core of the earth. And let's drop the whole group down. Yeah. I always kind of do that to just get people can be at different levels or dropping down at different rhythms and rates. And so just getting everybody in together at the same time into the core of the earth. And when you really connect in, when you're really connected in, not just partially, I explained that before, I'll explain that in a minute, why it's only partial and might feel like you're really connected in. But when you really kind of tap in, those frequencies from the earth will just start to just come right back up at you like they are doing now for almost everybody. There's somebody, Karen, I think that's you. Don't you kind of get some interference for anchoring in. So we'll take care of that. Just keeping your awareness on that connection, core of the earth. It's interesting because for a while I was really emphasizing new earth, new earth. Now it feels like you can just say earth and you're tapping into the right thing. But if you need to emphasize that for yourself, because there's been a lot of interference, that it's the new earth, and the new earth would mean the consciousness of the new consciousness is through, and the new consciousness of the earth, but the new consciousness that's coming through in all of existence, right? Then, say that for yourself. That's fine. Yeah, there we go. Might need a little bit more of attention there, Karen. Yeah, my sense is that it's for you, Karen. So just checking back up there. Okay. Yeah, and staying in that connection. It's really nice, nurturing energy that's flowing up. You know, when we get interference, I invite you to see it as, okay, just a little challenge to see how well you're staying connected with yourself and how well you can stay focused. So I'm not always in that space of being able to hold solid, in my awareness, hold solid and just ignore everything else. Sometimes it can be there, sometimes it's a little harder. So just really let yourself come back to that thing. It's like you notice you get distracted, then come back to that focus. And if you need something to focus on your spine. You can also focus on core channel, the center of your body that goes right through all the way to the core of the earth and all the way up into the ethers. So that's your connection to. It's an energetic structure that connects you to other aspects of existence at the energetic level or non-physical level, if you want to say it, because I want to come back to the relative grounding that I mentioned a minute ago for people. Just a refresher for those of you who've already heard me say this, and then if you haven't heard me say this before, and you might not have heard this elsewhere either. If you're up here, get my hands where they're visible. If you're up here and you come down here, your awareness drops down to even just shoulder level, you're going to feel more grounded. Because grounding is about being really anchored into your physical form. So that energetic, that non-physical aspect and your physical being connected and at the same level together. Instead, you could have your energetic level here and your physical level here, quite literally. And so you will have people who are not there, and literally their energy field will not come down like it's supposed to come down below your feet. So if you're up here all the time or above, and then you come down to your shoulders, upper torso, it's going to feel grounded because it is more grounded than up here, right? You're more in your body than up here. So, so that's why I say relative grounding. And so that's why I brought up that piece about noticing, when you're really anchored in, when you really get into that core and anchor in, those frequencies will come right back up at you. And so, and you can feel them in different ways. You might get an image, you might get just this lightness sensation coming through, whatever. So notice that, it's not necessarily a feeling sensation, depends on, you might even hear a tone that comes through. And so when I see the group, I can see kind of like, well, there's somebody here, somebody further down, I hit my shoulder blade really hard last night. I realized I was just pulling me more into my body. Yeah, so really good for you, as you mentioned last year. Yeah. Yeah, so when we have things like that, it helps. It actually, so, maybe you could have avoided that hurt, but also using that too, it's like, okay, it's really feeling the shoulder. It's really calling my attention. That helps to kind of connect you into areas of your body where you're not as connected in. So really good. All right, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Let yourself and feel yourself just centered on your spine. And as if you're expanding, but your awareness is centered right on your spine. So it's almost like inflating balloon, even you're still in the center of the balloon, and the balloon is just inflating all around you, yeah? If that helps to visualize that, yeah. Okay, very nice. Coming into your breath, into your chest and your breathing. And allowing yourself to drop a little deeper into that awareness of your breath. Let's see if we can slow that down for everybody here. Yeah. Just feeling a bit calmer, more relaxed. Kind of a cloud kind of lifted up. It's kind of interesting because it didn't really show up that strongly, but then when we drop in deeper, then it's like, oh yeah, there's kind of that layer there that now that we've dropped into a higher level of coherence, then that what's not at that higher, what doesn't match that higher level of coherence will shift out. Yeah. And let's drop down a little bit more. So just focusing on your breath. And on the exhale, you can focus just kind of releasing what you don't need in this present moment. And on the in-breath, coming into that center alignment of yourself, that center line. So alignment, center alignment. And if you want to do your spine, that's fine. You can do your spine too. And that might be good for those of you who are a little bit more, a little less in up more. Yeah, so Karen, that'd be good for you. Just for the practice. Hey, this is the best way to be in your power. What does it mean to be in your power? That's been coming up. Very simply put, being in your power means that you don't reference the external to validate who you are. And you reference the external, it can be a negative reference or it can be a positive reference. Like a title tends to be a positive reference for people. You know, I'm so-and-so. I've got, you know, I'm CEO, I'm head of this, I'm that, whatever. Even I'm teacher, you know, proud of that title. And so that is a way that a lot of people, that we've learned to be important in life, you know. But that doesn't put you in your power and being in charge of yourself and being on top of who you are and being at the highest expression of who you are, which is always an unfoldment. Okay, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. And feel that balloon expanding as you're focused on that center. And yeah. External references can be negative. You know, when we kind of like get into a critical thing, well, I'm better than they are, kind of, for example. That can be, and there might be some other ones out there they might think of. that's an external reference. It's about what you are, who you are relative to the external, okay? That does not make you stronger. That does not make you more in charge of yourself. So the only way you can do that, and it's not easy to get there, it's little by little, to really own yourself and come into the full expression of your being and your potential and your power. And owning yourself is to just come into you, connect with yourself, and anchor into that. A lot of opposition will come up relative to that. You have to understand that. This is part of the waking up process. Part of that is internal programs will show up, whether internal to yourself or in the external world. And they will kind of show up. Oh, gee, that looks just like what I've got going on in here. Right? I missed the last couple minutes. That's okay. You can come back and listen to it. Yeah, it's good for you. You just jumped right back in. So, case in point, right there at the physical level, you stay focused on yourself. You'll get sidetracked. That's the way of getting sidetracked. Whoops, that disconnection. And jump right back into connecting. So, real well done. Well done for you, Karen. And that's an example that it happens not only at the physical level, at the non-physical, you feel like you've got all these thoughts, but it happens at the physical level also. So excellent. No need to apologize. Those things happen for whatever reasons, and they do happen for not just because, accidental internet disconnection. Yes, you are here. Deep breath into that. Yeah. Feel into that presence of yourself, everybody. Just be aware of your physical presence. Yeah, very good. And see if you can become aware of the area where you are not so much present. Different areas. There's a bit of the back, which is very common. Some of you, it's more kind of like the top of the head. Some people, it's like all the way down the back. The feet also, the bottom, the soles of the feet. So just notice that for yourself. Okay. See if we can just get everybody to come more into themselves. So whatever your part, whatever area, pick an area. Now, if it's your whole back, see if you can do your whole back. If not, just start where it feels where you're less. It could be like the shoulders, or it could be like the lower back, or whatever. And become aware now. So if you need to just touch your body in that area and feel it, do that. It's about just bringing that tangible feeling to really anchor it into your brain more. I mean, I used to like pull my shirt forward and just lean into my shirt or lean against the back of the chair, whatever you're sitting on, to really feel that. Because when there's a void, it's not going to register in your brain either, and not as well. And so just helping to reinforce that information in your brain so you can connect into that more easily. I've been noticing my spine heating up right behind my heart. Is that me coming into me? Okay, good question. All right, so breathe into that. So feel into, so Karen in particular, feel into that area for yourself. There's one thing with the heat. Let's take a deep breath in. I'm going to explain in a minute first, but okay, really feeling yourselves. Let's come back into the whole body, whole spine, dropping down to the core of the earth. All the way down, 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 down. Oh, there we go. Anchoring in. Allowing those frequencies to come up in the core of the earth. And with your breath, pulling that up. Filling your body up with those frequencies. Yeah, very good. There we go. So I'm going to have you coordinate your breath just to really help the whole group here. We have kind of different levels. That's good for everybody. On your in-breath, pull those frequencies up from the core of the earth, all the way up that core central channel for your spine. And then on the exhale, imagine that energy just filling up your body, just your physical body. Stay with the body here. So in-breath, pulling it up into that core, and then exhale, expanding out from that core and filling your body. And then you can, if you want, you can do your whole body. If you want, you can just do that specific area. Okay, so keep working on that as I'm talking here. Heat in your body, and if any of you are starting to feel heat, whether it's here or not, or some area heating up, you've got the energy that's going in there, and that's just pushing out the block. We'll get to your comment in a moment, Elizabeth. The energy is moving through that area, and then it's opening it up. And so hot flashes have a tendency to be exactly that. It's burning off residue from old stuff and clearing it out, opening up pathways. I remember when I was my first weekend at healing school decades ago. We had been doing some exercises, some work on each other. I can't remember what, but we had been running energy and stuff. And I happened to walk by a mirror, and there was this big red welt on my neck, just from the energy going through and opening up that area. So, yeah, there's kind of you got this kind of vortex energy that's in the back of your heart. That's you could see that as your chakra. You can understand that as your chakra too, because your back is just there's a lot on your backside too. So that needs clearing. Yeah. So a lot of opening up. And I'll get to people's questions in a bit. There's some good comments for once. We have like really good comments today, so we don't have riffraff coming in yet. All right, I just want to take the group a little deeper before I get into the comments. Let's drop down to the core of the earth again. Okay, let's just hang out here for a little bit. Recharge. In fact, we're just going to hang out here for while I look at the questions. Just allow yourself to feel being in that core of the earth. Just being held and nurtured by the earth in that core. Feel kind of nurturing feeling here, feeling yourself being held, maybe being enveloped, being filled with all of that nurturing earth energy, grounded in energy. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And bringing your awareness on your breath. Yeah, very nice. Another point relative to Kieran and the heart heating up. It's like when you come into your body, your awareness is that channel for really coming into your body and bringing those frequencies of you in through. So that's going to wake up areas, and you might not be consciously bringing your awareness into those areas, but your system is going into that, and your energy is opening up. So that's good. Okay, doing a lymphatic self-massage from top to bottom when you wake up is a great way to come into your body. Yeah, that's an example of that. That's good thing to do. Okay, Elizabeth, I had a dream where I was somewhere else, and then I woke up not knowing who or where I am, and then I fell asleep again. I knew who I was and where I was. I assume after you fell asleep. Well, you just were into a different dimension. And it's like you're so much into that other dimension that you kind of lost that sense of yourself in this physical level. So become aware of your physical body and your environment to really kind of pull you back in. Sleep is interesting because it really can really open up the door to go into a lot of places. So always kind of start your before you go to sleep, really connect in to yourself, to your environment. Do that spatial referencing that we've talked about, where you notice your environment and then you become aware of your body, your environment, your body, things in your environment and your body, and anchor that in. And so that my sense is that what happened with you is that's the reason you woke up, is that it's like, time to come back in here because you're going too far up. So it's your system will wake you up, your system, your higher self, whatever. It's like, whoa, come back, and come back here. You're here. This is you. And so then you fell asleep, and then you were kind of aligned with yourself. If that makes sense. When I woke up, knowing where I was, I started spatial referencing, fell back asleep. Yeah, okay, so you did good. So you instinctively had that sense. It's like, okay, wait, we've got to reconnect in here. Thank you, I got it. I suppose that's with the heart stuff. What if you have goosebumps all over and tingling everywhere, almost whole body vibrating? So Fire Tiger, I don't know what you're referencing here, because that could be relative to different things. So if that's something we were talking about earlier, please let me know. Okay. That's all the comments I've been seeing here. All right, take a nice deep breath in. Fill yourself a core of the earth. Coming into your breathing again. If you went off, with the conversation. Oh, Elizabeth, I got another step for you from last time, continuing from your question last time about communication stuff. Yeah. If I remember correctly, Elizabeth, you play violin, or you used to. I hope you still do, because that's kind of a cool thing to do. Yes, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, okay. Coming to that breath and just settling in the breath. We've got a very nice, just gentle, nurturing session. And just want to check on Roma on the other side there. Roma, you've really glad. It looks like that stuff really cleaned up for you really well. And right now, there's just this space of being content, of, just being kind of at ease that you didn't have before. So that's really nice. And I'm glad for you, because that was, had some hard stuff going up here. All right. And just allowing ourselves to settle in here. It's like plumping us up, We'll get to your question in a minute, Sydney. Be cautious with the lemon ginger water, okay? You might not want to do it every day. There's something that feels like a little bit aggressive for your system. So doing a lower dosage, or starting with a lower dosage of lemon and ginger, and just kind of increasing, and also not doing it every day. You might do it like once a week. It's better to start with less than more. Part of the problem with a lot of these protocols, I cannot do that kind of liver protocol, because lemon and ginger are both very activating for the system, and that just messes up my elemental balance. I'm really sensitive to that, and I don't need people who are really good with those protocols, those kind of protocols like lemon and ginger water, are people who have highly sluggish systems. So more on the water earth element, are really overloaded with the water and earth element. And so they're like, their system just is really slow. So that will just speed up your system. I've got the complete opposite. I just got knowing to do it every few days and said, okay, good. The first thing in the morning, yeah. Yeah, and work with the dosage too. Just kind of play around with that. You'll get what you need. Listen to your body. You will get what you need instead of following these protocols. Lemon and ginger is great, but it's just not really good for everybody. Ashwagandha is another one of those Ayurvedic herbs, it's fantastic. It's fantastic, but it can also really throw you out of balance. So I can't do ashwagandha anymore. I could do it like about 20 years ago. I was able to do it. I can't do it anymore because it just is too strong for my system, kind of thing. Okay, well, ginger and lemon pitta will really aggravate. Both of those will really aggravate pitta. So that's probably why I'm telling you it's gotta see. But that's probably why I'm seeing tweaking your system too much. I took that for a while, but didn't like it. Yeah, I'm not sure if it works well for me with kapha. Yes, kapha. There we go. Kapha is real good with kapha. But even with kapha, be really careful because on the Ayurvedic note is that when you hit 50, the older you get, the more vata you will have in your system. End of story. It doesn't matter what you are. 50 on until you die is vata time of life. Okay, that's why little babies, little kids have a lot of congestion and colds and stuff because they're in their kapha, primary kapha time of day. Hi, Marianne and fam. Just got here. Yeah, we've been going at it for a while and we're still here. So yeah, look it up. Ayurveda works fantastic if you're really aware of. It's really good in terms of that balance of the elements in your body. So, all right, nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Release it out. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. I'm 81 next. Really? Good for you. Yeah, so you got to work. And if you go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, most likely what they usually do is they will balance vata first because vata will mimic kapha and pitta. When it's out of balance, it's gonna look like one of the other two. So I was taking ginger water every day and stopped doing it, even though I am a Capricorn and have a lot of Pisces in my chart. I don't know how that relates to the elements. Taking matcha in cold water. What if that works for me? Okay, so if you have vata, my sense is you probably have a fair amount of vata in your system. Depends. Matcha can be matcha can. I can't do matcha. That's too much for me. So. Did invest? Okay, we've got an interesting question. Did investment in cryptocurrency and people seem to don't want to give my money back? Well, you know, right there, if you're getting into that kind of situation, you got to ask yourself, you know, abuse patterns. You got to look at yourself for abuse patterns. So yeah, family patterns, still, you know, self-worth patterns. So look at that. And I assume this is my Anna Vanessa here, my buddy that I know. So yeah, that's you've got a lot of different strings in that one, you know, around money, around abuse, around worth, self-worth, around taking, you know, take a look at all these different things. What is that showing you? Being taken advantage of. So in other words, when you're getting taken advantage of, somebody's coming into you. You're taking on somebody else's shit. I have no earth in my chart, but equally balanced in all other elements. I'm not, okay, earth, for me, that's a totally different thing than Ayurveda. There's probably a way that they connect, but yeah. Earth, water, energies. So earth and water, that would be kapha. I don't know. You know, kapha, Ayurvedic is that there's 2 elements per dosha, so combine 2 elements. And earth is pitta and kapha, both. So that's why I can't. That just doesn't work to look at just your elements on your chart. You got to look at what the Ayurvedic balance is, because that's a bit different. Okay. Oh, not a scammer. Can you check out? All right, Anna, I'm just going to tune in for Anna's thing a little bit more here. What is it that you're hoping to, you were, like, if you go back to before you made that investment, what state were you making that investment from? Because my sense is that you were really hoping to get more for yourself, okay? There's a problem when you do that with money, because if you're wanting to make more for yourself or anything, so you're already coming from a place of lack. So what is that going to create for you? That's going to create more lack for you. So that's one of the things. And family pattern, or pattern that you inherited, or pattern that you took on, yeah, you've got a lot of those different things. And you know, sometimes, so it's not that, take the situation here with Anna. That situation could change overnight. When you clear up all the issues that coming through here, there's different pieces for you to look at. You clear all that up and you get into that place of being balanced for yourself, where you don't care either way how it's going to go. That will really open up the door. And when you get to that place where you don't really care how it's going to go, shows that you've been just cleared out all the issues around that place, around that item, and you're in a state of wholeness. And so it doesn't matter. So it's coming back to that point that I said earlier about being in your power, is really coming into that place fully and completely. For yourself, that's how you are in your power, not that external piece. So Anna, you're kind of getting into that thing that we said earlier. It's just like you moved yourself out of yourself, out of alignment with yourself, reaching for that external piece to get more, hoping to get more. Come and find that more inside of you, that more connection to yourself. So there's a lot of little pieces there. It's a good cleanup for you, and use it to shift yourself higher and spiral up. Okay. Last night I clicked in when I was talking with a friend that to generate money, I need to come from the place of freely giving. Okay. Really be careful with that logic. To be in that place to generate money, you need to be in that place of fully being connected with your worth and value. Because if you get that place of freely giving, you're going to get into that freely giving for free. Okay? That's what you're saying there. That's a religious paradigm. Yeah, and Anna, look at those timelines. Look at those loops. You've got several. You've got, I think, probably more than one. I would say you've got maybe 3 loops in there, more or less, for you to work through. Just be really aware. Just work through that. So you've got the information. You've got the tools. You have the tools to work through that. So. Yeah, good for you. No, good for you for bringing it up, because you're conscious of it. And so this is an opportunity. It's like, okay, let's work through this and spiral up even higher from more of those pieces where I was before. I was getting stuck and I was not moving anywhere. So yeah, you're in that place of being able to really move up for yourself, Anna. Good for you. Oh, thank you. Makes more sense now. Yes. Being freely giving. Yes, right. Giving freely. Giving for free. No, that's not. Here is the hard part about the path you are on, the path everybody here is on, is the money piece is going to keep coming back. Relationship piece, anything that's major like that in your life is going to keep coming back to you, because it's that piece that's helping you move higher and higher. I'll tell you, when I was starting out my business, the only thing that worked, 25 years ago, I mean, it was all the manifestation stuff. Those things never budged a dime for me. The only thing that has ever budged a dime for me is clearing myself internally out. You're in that place too. Connecting more into yourself. Find your worth. If you know what you are worth, you don't go looking out for anything. And when you think of just for that imagery, it's not necessarily the best example, but you own your kingdom of you. You're the queen of your kingdom. Does the queen go out and go looking for? No, people come to the queen saying, we want to help you. That's where you want to be. Money will say, I'm here for you. I've been dealing with lots of random allergy attacks, from itchy, watery eyes, itchy throat, etc. Thoughts or suggestions? Thank you. Okay. Take a deep breath in, everybody. Deep breath in. You've got a lot of people that irritate you. It's what's coming up. And there's an internal conflict with yourself. My sense is, Moon Goddess, is that you want to see yourself as a really good, loving, kind person. But then you've got people who really irritate the hell out of you. Does that sound about right for you? You're really honest with yourself. And it's not that you're not a nice, good person, but it's that image that you are just holding on to. So you're in conflict with yourself. Not usual allergy patterns. Yeah, just put it aside, the allergy patterns, for a minute. Just what I said about where you are with yourself, so when I tune into yourself, it's like you've got this layer of irritation around you. But in that layer of irritation is that you want to see yourself a certain way, and the external is not really supporting that. But it's causing this internal conflict. Allergies are kind of like, are similar to autoimmune issues. Autoimmune system, if you stop and think about autoimmune, your immune system is to defend itself. Autoimmune means the system is attacking itself. Okay, so with allergies, there's a little bit of that. There's a similarity there, and that's what I see going on with you. Is to look at those, look at how you really are and how you really feel about what's around you, what's in your environment, who's around you, where you live. And it just feels like there's it just feels like there's a lot of irritation there that you're not acknowledging for yourself. And I'm not talking about physical irritation, it's coming into that level. I'm talking about more like emotional, mental irritation, and you're holding that at bay for yourself, because we all get into we've all been through this place. I think everybody on the call, I'm sure, has been in that place where we want to see ourselves a certain way, and we are holding on so much to being ourselves in a certain way that we have those blinders on. It's like, no, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I'm nice. I'm nice to everybody. I'm spiritual. I'm da 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 da. And that's all we want to see about ourselves, but we're shutting ourselves down to how we really feel. Yes, that could be right. Yeah. So just sit with that, and because it's creating that irritation. At least that's part of it. That might not be the whole piece, but that's a piece that's coming forward for you to look at here. So here's one thing, is to just start family members and their irritation. I love that question. Here's the catch with family members and other people. Other people are probably reflecting family members back to you. That is the catch-22 in life, basically, because we learned life through our family members, and so that reflection keeps coming back. And I've had rheumatoid arthritis too. Yeah, so that's a lot of heat there. Also look into Ayurveda. I can recommend that, just because there's a lot of too much fire in your system, maybe balancing that out, but also help with that. I've been navigating a lot of loss, grief for what I believe is the shedding of my old identity, and everyone tied to that identity. Yeah, me too, Aria. Crying all the time. Yeah, watch that crying. So that's okay to be crying all the time, and we go through those periods, but why, let yourself cry, but also observe that, and observe how that feels to be in that crying. And if there's that part of you that is this identity that's starting to form around that, because it's doesn't want you to go to another place, whether it doesn't want to get left behind, so it's like, no, we're going to keep her tied in, so that almost kind of gets into this loop. So just walk that line delicately. Maybe it's not that you're off, but if it starts going on too long, it's like you're getting taken over by another identity that's formed around this crying all the time, because you are shedding this lost old identity and the grief of losing that old lost identity. See that loop? Did you get a sense of that? My sense is you're on the edge of looping back into that old pattern, and so you're just crying all the time, thinking that you're clearing yourself out. Okay. There's a victim piece in there also for you to really look at for yourself. This is a victim thing is a really hard one for probably most of us to accept of ourselves, that we are victims, and that we have, when we've been victimized, even if it comes from the external piece, when we hold on to that, we're making ourselves victim. And when we can, for everybody here, think about this really carefully and look and see if you have a victim identity. If you're holding on to that, or even if you have in the past and you're not so much there, take a look at it anyways to really understand that piece and move out of it. Once you can accept, it's like, oh, wow, I'm victimized. I'm victimizing myself. I've been a victim, and now I'm perpetuating that, which is a way of victimizing ourselves. When you can break that for yourself, it'll really help you move forward. Sydney, that's coming up, really to look at that a little bit more deeply, like with the money piece, because I know you've worked through some of that stuff. Narcissism comes to mind. Narcissism connects into being a victim in a way. So, top of the hour, folks. Boy, okay. Vanessa, we didn't get into that. I mean, Vanessa, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you didn't answer my question. I'm remembering you as doing violin and music. If that's correct, your next step from what we were doing last time, wanted to share with that, is paying attention to what tone, what musical note would you give? Like when you're sitting there listening to the ocean, sitting at the beach, what's that musical tone for that beach? What is for the sand, for the all that, for whatever's around you? Do a note. Come up with a note. Play around with that this week, with whatever's around you. The couch, the chair. It's like the plant. That'll take you into the next step, what you were asking last time. I agree, the victimization and lack of consciousness mentality. Be careful of getting really into your mind about that. That whole agree with the victimization. Stop there, because the next piece, and lack of consciousness mentality, sabotaging. Okay, you're really sharp with your mind, but be really careful with that, because that is also pulls you into this whole mental da-da-da-da-da. It's not conscious. I go in and out of my new and old identity. There's still a little bit of looping. Yeah, you can be real. I just wanted you to be cautious with that, because it could feel like, yeah, going into the new, and you're not really going into the new. You just keep cycling back into that. On the verge of going into the new, go back to the old. On the verge of going back into the new, get pulled back into the old, kind of thing. So, thank you. You are on point. Okay, good. And okay, great. Thank you so much. I'll check into the area. Yeah, because heat in the joints can be like arthritis, or can come from either vata or pitta, because both will create heat. If you think of dry skin and you're rubbing your hands like that, dry skin, if you keep rubbing your skin, you're gonna create a lot of burn from the dry against the dry. And so it's a different kind of inflammation, and that will probably help you balance out. So a good practitioner will be able to help you with that, just to balance all that out. And take care of those allergies at the physical level, but take care of that deeper level as well. All right. Boy, we've had a really chatty session, and we have had a good session today. Just kind of chilling, and Mother Earth. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Showing flashing my QR code for people, anybody wants to do donation. You're welcome to. But right before we come to close, let's drop back into the core of the earth. Yeah. Feeling that nurturing, gentle frequencies from the core. Yeah. Breathe into that. And really just bring in those frequencies in for yourself. Okay. And kind of leave you in here in this earth connection. Does that feel nice? It feels like, oh, kind of like the sauna, right? Back to the chat. Thank you so much, Marianne. Yeah, you've got the skills. You know, you've got the tools, so you'll get yourself out of that. All right. Thanks, everybody. Nice chat. We'll be back next Wednesday and see what comes our way. And good session. Thank you all for showing up. And have a good rest of your week. And now I need to log off. Okay. Thank you on Instagram too. Log off here. Okay, off we go. Take care, everybody.